Welcome to Real Talk with Victoria Whyte, where real experience creates real impacts. In this platform, we share real stories from real people. They share their experiences, what they've gone through, challenges they've been through, and how they were able to come out successful. So this will give other people opportunity that are aiming to achieve that same goal or that are on
Yeah,
that same process to be able to, when they hear from these stories, they'll be able to make a better decision so they don't have to go through the struggles that someone else have gone through. So here with
mentioned
me
before, yeah.
Shittu Ahmed. He's one of the tech guys in the UK.
No,
He's been opportune to uh, go through different interview process and came out successful. So we'd love to know how he was able to prepare for it, how he was able to search for those for those organizations, and how he went through the whole interview process. So we have some few questions that we want you to answer so others can learn from it and know how best they can prepare for the interview so they come out successful. Because a lot of experiences from people they've been encountering, unfortunately. I know that is inevitable. You're going to encounter that, but I mean, there should be something that can limit it. If you are going to be having 100, unfortunately, maybe hearing from your story will reduce it to like 20,
yeah.
unfortunately, hopefully. So we'd love to hear your story. So before we go deep, I would like you to introduce yourself so we get to know you. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. My name is, just as you said, my name is Ahmed Shittu Bamidele. Ahmed Bamidele Shittu.
Yeah.
Um, I'm an SQL developer, been in tech industry for like a decade now. So I've started with statistical analysis, little by little. Then I was able to climb the ladder to become an database informatics associate back in Nigeria. So when I moved to the UK, so I took my first job was data specialist consultant. Then after I was able to do SQL data developer, but now currently I'm working as a SQL data engineer or possibly data engineer. So
Wow.
that's not who I am, but I'm I'm Hamid. Those are just my occupation. So that's not me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. So, a lot of people that want to delve into the tech industry, there's a lot to learn from you today. Wow. Thank you for giving us the privilege to hear your story. So, we want to know what steps did you take? Fine, it seems like you've been in the data field for a while now. You didn't just jump into it. So, is it possible?
Actually, I didn't just jump into it.
Mm, because a lot of people right now, because we are now getting information about tech. Everybody wants to go into it. People in the healthcare sector want to go into the tech. Everybody tech is the in thing now. So is it really easy for someone that has not been in the tech scene before to move into tech? Will it be easy for the person maybe after going through the training and all that? What do you think?
Well, actually, uh, I don't like making things difficult for people. But I would say nothing is impossible with
Yeah.
determination and the passion. I would say when you want to move to tech from
Mm,
every other corridor you're coming from,
mhm.
number one, if you don't have passion, try to develop the passion for it because at some point it's not going to make sense to you. At some point, you're going to be stuck. At some point, it look as if it's not going to work out. But your passion is what is going to move the boat at that time. So don't just jump into tech because it's desirable. No, you're going to get frustrated at the end because every course has its own challenges. And I say every field has its oil wells. It's just your expertise in that particular field. But
Mm,
you can move into tech, but one, you need to have the passion for it. That's
mm,
step one. The
mm,
passion is what we natural enthusiasm. Two, you need to be determined. Even when it does not make sense, even when you're being rejected, you need to
Mm.
be determined.
Mm.
And three, you need to be ready to do the hard work. When I mean the hard work, you have to learn, not just going for training alone, you have to put it to practice.
Mm.
You know, we have a lot of people that are moving from health, you are working healthcare and you're doing about 37 hours.
Mm.
You can't make it significantly within the tech space. The reason is that the time frame. You can tell yourself you'll make it, but you have to do something to pay the price for it. You have to put it to practice. Because when you get out to the interview spot, you're gonna meet a real life challenge. And it's quite very easy to spot out somebody that is not within the industry. When I was not within the industry, I was thinking I've done perfectly. But when I move into the industry, I know how very easy it is to spot out somebody that just go through the back end and just study one or two things. So as long as it's very, very easy to know them. So
Really?
later, the advice I'm going to give is one, be passionate.
Yeah.
Two, be determined. Don't
Mm.
don't be resilient. Three,
Mm.
hard work. Be ready to put in the hard work. And
Yeah.
four, be ready to let go. They call it opportunity cost, economist.
Mm.
Be ready to let go of some things to get that because you're going to let go. Uh, Back in my own time, I refused to get a full-time job. I was
Yeah.
doing agency job because I know agency job give me time. I can pick a two shift in a day, in a week,
Mm-hmm.
and you spend the rest of the time to
Preparing.
brush up myself and to put myself on the spotlight. So that's just the four key points I felt. That's the four fundamental. Every There are so many other things that go for training, but those things are the core things that will
Mm.
move you very, very fast when it comes to data or anything you want to do.
Mm. Thank you for
Uh,
that insight. Nice. Okay, so moving forward, I want to know what's the steps you took to prepare for the job interview? What steps did you take?
where when I start first, I wasn't actually having a caution around preparation. When I made a caution, because I was actually using the psychology of Nigeria, which is quite very different from what they
Mm.
have here.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I was able to find out is that these people can smell with you and you're failing, which is what is different in Nigeria. So I remember my first interview with Birmingham City University. So I did my homework. I'm gonna lay down some points to do
Mm.
when you want to do interview. I did my homework, but not to the level. But I was speaking and I was speaking, but I saw everybody smiling. I thought, oh, I've done it. But over time, when I get into do some interview, then I know that smiling doesn't necessarily mean it's not a sign of acceptance.
Yeah.
It's actually, to me, it's a yellow flag. When you
Mm.
spot them smiling, it's trying to make you not feel embarrassed. It's a sense of making you feel along. And so you are not ready to make them feel like you're not ready to put them, you're not ready to come and display a sense of making them feel along. You're meant to
Mm.
convince them so that they
Yeah.
can know you qualify for the position. So in terms of preparation, after all my stumbling and my falls, I was able to come up with some structural strategy. So if I'm having an interview, I know there is a technical part and there is a behavioral part.
Mm.
So the behavioral part in terms of the real life challenges, the real life skills, what you can do, what you can do. The technical part is the skills you've acquired over the time that make you suitable for that particular course. So the
Mm.
first thing I'll go do is that if I know I'm having an interview 1 week predisposed, I'll go online. First thing is that I will check all the interviewer.
Mm.
That's the first thing. I'll check you. And I'm not just checking you because I want to check you. I'm checking your curriculum. I want to know your expert. I want to know your area. So that will give me to know what to say. Maybe I'm to bamboozle you with too much technical gimmicks and technical cliches,
Mm.
or I'm to just go straight to the question you answer me. If I know that you are deficiency in terms of your skills and you just arrive at your position with apprenticeships, and I saw a couple of people with apprenticeships, then I'm gonna storm you up with a lot of technical terms and gimmicks. So if you ask me a single question, I will let you know I know it very well that in the next four questions that you've iteratively stated,
Mm.
I will have answered it. So, but if I know that you've been in that field for long, I'll just be straight to the point so that there won't be more room for you to dig in deep. to know my
Yeah.
capacity. That is just number one tips. Go online, look for the person. My explanation is just to justify why I go online. So
Mm.
look out, go to LinkedIn, search the person's profile, make sure you're able to know who the person is, know his feed.
Mm.
That's number one preparation. Then number
That's
two
the person that's
preparation.
going to interview you, right?
Interview,
You
yes,
should be
look
aware
for
of the
all of
CV.
them.
Yeah.
Make sure you know them. Then second point is once you've actually know them, then this is your own homework. What's the job description like? Read your CV. What we don't do, we don't read our CV. Read your CV yourself. Everything you wrote on your CV, make sure you read it, you digest it, you become one with it. That's the beginning of your homework. So that is who you have. That is the story you're going to tell them first, because the first thing I think most of the interviewer will ask, it differs. Civil service pattern of interview depends from the company that are so, but the first thing people tend to ask you during interview is just tell me about yourself. So tell me about yourself is tell me what is in your CV. Summarize everything in your CV within the space of 5 minutes. So if you have digest your CV, you know what to say. So I suggest, my first point is go out there, get in touch with whoever is supervising, whoever is manning up
Interview.
the committee. Then
Mm.
secondly, your homework is start by revising your CV, know it. Then have draft it out, how you want to state each and every response. Each and every response, that means the first response, the most generic response is tell me about yourself. Draft it out 4 or 5 days before that time. Share with people you know have experience in that field. Share the templates with them. So let them have their inputs and they come up. So you, at least 1 or 2 days, revise it, talk it up, have the template. You will have perfect it and edit it over time. So that's the first thing. So once you know how to introduce yourself, the interview pattern is actually different. Like civil service now, they have what we call the behavioral section. So they will have tell you the behavioral question. So when you go online, you will see the behavioral questions. But I'm going to be generic because this is
Mm.
online. So a lot of people have multiple jobs. So that's why
Yeah.
all my points are very generic. The first
Yeah.
one, go online, search the person. Secondly, revise your CV, draft it out and know what you want to say. Then thirdly, if you are in a tech space, always answer every question using a STAR method. I think we know that one.
Mm.
But sometimes we know it, but we don't apply it.
Yeah.
STAR is, and I think is situation.
Situation.
They used to
Task.
call it
Mm.
in research. That terminology in research is called word problem, statement of
Mm.
problem.
Yeah.
Build a problem around. That is why everything build a problem around every question they ask you that's related. They will ask you that how do you develop a team? How do you survive a particular scenario in your place of work? How
Mm.
do you work with your team partner? This particular product you use. So one is develop a problem. Very short, straight to the point. The ones you know that the person you are dealing with is an expert in that field, make your answer straight. Don't dig in deep yourself to the point that is if you are not if you just go through to learn, to go through the training and you are
Yeah.
trying to preserve yourself, don't talk too much. Be straight to the point, be exact,
Mm.
explicit. So the first thing, the situation around the problem they're asking you. Tax means the steps you take,
Mm.
not the skills you use now. The tax is the steps you take. Break it down into process modeling. The
Mm.
first tax, extraction of data, cleansing of data,
Mm.
that. So tax also include the skills. Now, when you have stated the process, one, I extract the data. How did I extract the data? Inside each of those tasks, design the task, design the soft skills you use, and be as details as what you can,
Mm.
as anything you can. So then follow the results, state the results. The result is not then the data is significant. No, let it be business oriented results. Like it increased the revenue by 15%. That is what
Mm.
they want to hear. It increased the workflows by 10%. It's reduced the redundancies by 15%. Make it much more. Sorry, the tax, actions, sorry, is it STAR,
Yeah,
situation, task, actions.
action.
So the task is process, the actions that you take while you do it. That was what I put
Mm,
it in. Yeah, I extracted the data with so this thing. Then the results. So I'll let your situation aspect always carry the fact that because you can't work alone.
mm,
Because most of us say, yes, I extract data. No, no, no. Build your situation that I have to reach out to stakeholders. I have a meeting with them, set up a meeting.
mm.
I want to know how I can match up this. So I'm talking about the data space.
Yeah.
But generically, then after you've done that, ask questions after, after they've asked you. Ask questions. And this is one of the questions I often ask. I ask them, what is the recent problem that you guys are having? So I want to know how I can prepare myself before I come in. Let me know what are the challenges that you guys have, because I know there's a challenge that you
Mm,
have in currently, and that's why it's either you require this role because there is someone leave and there's a lot of backup. So what are the problem? So I can
mm,
prepare myself. So once you say that to them, they feel like you actually know what you're doing,
mm,
and you ask them, when am I expecting the feedback? And another thing is body language. Let your boldness be so severe,
mm,
not arrogance,
mm,
boldness. Your boldness, be bold. Even if you don't have a job, act
mm.
like you have a job.
Yeah.
Relax. Don't mutter your words. Sit back, calm down. Ask your question. Tell them, can you come again? Don't try to form assets. Speak your natural English. That's the beauty. Don't try to
Yeah.
say, I'm stressed. No, no, no. Just be plain. No,
Yeah.
your being yourself is what will scale you through. So that
Mm,
shows you that you are not afraid of them.
mhm.
Another thing, build a sense of superiority, not inferiority. Don't
Yeah.
think that they are more than you. There are so many of those top managers that they don't even cross the four walls of schools, that they build their position to their apprenticeship level. So when you
Mm,
are talking to them, see them as, yes, that's, I said earlier in quotes, is not arrogance, but
mm,
boldness. So
mm,
boldness that you are not being rude, but you are bold. You answer your question not with fear. So
mm.
there's two way out of it. Either you get the job or you don't get the job. So you won't die if you don't get the job. So
Exactly.
just be bold. So those are just that's just my
Wow.
tips
Wow. Wow.
for
Wow.
trying to do interview.
That is awesome. Oh my God. Hey,
So
so much information. Be bold, not arrogance.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no arrogance. Be bold.
So how did you research the company and the role before the interview? How do you, where do
Actually,
what are the
there is a way
like?
you get the role before. You can
Okay.
either apply through LinkedIn
Okay.
or maybe possibly you apply online. So and if you're applying through LinkedIn, you go to the LinkedIn page, copy the company's name, read about the company itself, because in some of the presentations, you have to shook in some of the challenges to know the company. So I use LinkedIn I use LinkedIn very well, and I use Google. And in the age of ChatGPT, there are so many other things. I'm speaking from the years where ChatGPT has not come up.
Come on.
Nowadays, you can pop up your job description on ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to tell you the predisposed questions that you can anticipate,
Mm,
something they can anticipate. So you can use that one as well, AI to model yourself.
mm,
But AI will make you redundant. When I mean redundant, it's good, but I suggest come up with a strategy, push it to AI, let it correct. Don't tell AI to give you strategy. Come up with a
mm.
strategy, push it to him, let it correct you. That way, it helps you keep your brain is not dormant, so you
Yeah.
keep flowing. So what I do is I research online, go to AI, search about the company, go to Google, search about the company, LinkedIn, search about the company on LinkedIn, look at how many employers they have, look at their histories, go to Glasgow, check
Mm,
their reviews on Glasgow, what
mm,
people say about them. Yeah, because Glasgow pops up some reviews. So go to all of
mm.
they get some reviews about them, know what they're saying about them, know the people that have interviewed them before.
Yeah.
So and if you have and there is a place, if you're on LinkedIn, they say the alumni of the school you went to. If there's anyone that you know that is
Yeah.
closer to your connection within LinkedIn,
Mm,
you can ask them, how does the interviews look like? What does it look like? What does it look like? So
mm,
that's how I research. I use LinkedIn, I use Google, I use AI to be very
mm,
specific. So I research
mm,
what that.
mm. Okay. So, can you share your any specific strategies that you use to practice for common interview questions? Like initially you talked about the star and all that. Are there other
Yes.
strategies? Like how deep can you go in this practicing?
Okay.
Mhm.
When it comes, actually, to be very, very sincere with you, there is no much strategies. I've given you some of my tips. As I said, be bold.
Mm,
That's one of my key things. What I always think is that the best thing is that you say you don't give me the job. So I won't try to. And another thing I used to do, I can stand and speak to yourself before the interview. People don't, this is called psyching yourself.
mm,
Psyching yourself means, that you may know a lot of things. I've got to an interview with NHS. That was when I was looking for sponsorship. I, I was having to, data analyst job with
mm,
NHS. So the word NHS, I was flabbergasted. So I was like, NHS, I've calculated how much I'm going to get, how the sponsorship is going to work. So that puts me on prayer. So I go to the interview. I could not flow as much as I could flow. But when I step out of the interview, I remember things I begin to say, things I was supposed to say, things that I were meant to talk about. It's not coming to me. And I notice the skills here is one, maintain the level of calmness and speak to yourself. I don't want to put the Bible. David encouraged himself in a lot. So encourage yourself, speak to yourself,
mm.
psych yourself. I can do it. They are
Yeah,
not more than me. So
yeah,
apart from, we all focus on reading, preparing. No, there's a place of whatever you download, you need to charge yourself up so that you can bear it up to, even if you look at the question, you don't know, with the boldness, you can begin to use them to get the answer because you'll be
mm,
throwing questions and you'll be throwing them back. But if you lose confidence in yourself, if you have a sense of inferiority, you have a
mm,
sense that you are black. And another
mm.
thing is don't allow the skin color to negate you. They are not intelligent. I used to say it to myself. You are not intelligent than me. No, as a matter of fact, because I'm a black man, I found myself much more intelligent than you
Yeah,
because you can't go through what I go through. You can't
yeah,
withstand my prayer. You can't
yeah,
stand the things I've been through. So
yeah.
that's not make me racism or whatever. But I'm just trying to say every factor that can negate your confidence, deal with it before you go to step in there. Make sure you speak
Mm,
to yourself, encourage yourself, and believe in yourself. So
yeah.
those are my personal tips, apart from the generic one of preparation and going online, search for material,
Mm,
some other things. So that is for the interview.
yeah.
So those are the things I do.
So, I know you've talked about it, charge yourself. Maybe there might be other challenging parts. So, what is the most challenging part of the interview process for you, and how did you overcome it?
Wow, the most challenging part is the one I said earlier. I lose confidence. I'm
Mm,
overwhelmed.
yeah.
I'm overwhelmed because of I think, anxiety and the proof that I'm not a failure. When you are a cerebral person,
Mm,
you don't like failing.
mm,
And so because you don't want to fail, you overshadow yourself with so many tasks
mm,
and you be laid off. So first of all, accept that failure is part of life. That you miss that interview does not mean that you are not competent.
mm,
So ask for feedback. How did
yeah.
I fail this interview? What do you think? Is anything I do wrong? What ask the people for feedback.
Mm,
So I'm telling you my own person because I always feel like if I fail any interview, I always feel like I don't like failing. Because I don't like failing. If
mm,
I fail any interview, I used to see myself, I lose my confidence. That doesn't mean
yeah.
you. So one of my greatest challenges, I get overwhelmed with the fact that I don't want to fail. Number
Yeah.
two, the anxiety that I'm in a strange land and I needed to produce results.
Yeah.
My challenges has not been what to say at the interview spot because I always do my homework. And those
Mm,
are the tips I've told you.
yeah.
But my challenges is anxiety. And take it or leave it. 80% of us go through that. You may just talk yourself out of it. That's the true fact. One, you are pressed on every side. Is that you need COS or you needed a job desperately. So because you needed the job desperately and you needed COS, the desperacy is going to display in your body language. And if there is one thing Whyte knows how to read, is they can read your body language.
Yeah.
And your body language is about 50% of everything. Because from the body language, they will know that you are afraid. The fear that you don't want to fail. You don't want to fail it out. You want to get the job. So the fear will be showcased in you. So that's the first thing I have to deal with. I have to deal with fear.
Yeah.
And another challenge I stated earlier is that the fact that the sense of acceptance. So when you see them smiling, they don't really, really accept.
Yeah.
They're just trying to create a sense of familiarity and a sense of not feeling bad. So once you watch that, first one question they're trying to, okay, smiling with you, know that that's a yellow flag. So immediately rearrange yourself and brush up yourself, be more intentional and be more specific. So, but if you see a sense of not frowning, a sense of composure and sense of listening, they're trying to hear what you want to say. That means you're passing a message. You're eating mark. You're trying to hear what you want to say. They want to know more, and you're pushing them to ask more questions. You're actually passing it, communicating. So if you're not going to give it, and don't get it twisted, you may perform excellent in an interview, and there is one reason why they are not taking you. It may not be associated to the fact that you don't perform very well. It may be associated to the fact that the visa you're having, they just want to cook up an excuse to tell you they can't. They may go back and consider, okay, the visa is having this, that, some other factors apart from your performance. So it's not the time that's your performance. So I have to develop this mentality for every interview I have. One, a sense of not want to fail, to overcome the fact that, well, if I fail, I accept the fact that failure is part of life. I'm still going to come back again. Then I'm not afraid. Then I have the fact that, like I said earlier, I speak to myself because I get overwhelmed. And anxiety, you're too anxious, you want to, and don't be forward. Because me, I can be forward when I know something. So one of the things I have to do is I'll be forward. So when I'll be forward, I'll be forward to put myself in a mess in the sense that I will tell you what you're not supposed to ask me. So that will generate another question. So what have you just asked me short questions, I'll just answer. So that was why I devised the technology of, I didn't hear this from any social media or anybody. I devised the technology of going to check the person out, know what his career looks like. Has he been in data feed for how long? So that LinkedIn will help you to do that. How long? So when I want to do my exegesis, I will know if this person has like 10 years experience. No, I know my exegesis is straight to the point. So
yeah,
that the message is straight to the
don't go
point.
and shoot yourself by yourself.
No, I'm going to shoot myself by myself.
Oh my God! Wow, that's nice. Okay, so moving forward, how did you tailor your resume and cover letter to align with the job you were applying for?
Actually, in the days where there is no chat GPT,
Yeah.
because when I was applying for jobs, there was no chat GPT, and what I do precisely is I try as much as possible to have different resume for different position. I can flow as a data analyst, as a data scientist, as a data engineer, as a Power BI developer, as an SQL developer. I can flow in those lines. So I have different CV for them. I don't have one CV for all of them, no. And don't join, because somebody sent me a CV recently. This is what is there. Data analyst trainee first. Information technology analyst two, I smile. Database administration, I studied. I told the person, you can't get it. You can't get an interview with this. I said, the reason is that there is no consistent flows in your work experience. At a point, you are a database administrator. At a point, you are information technologist. At a point, you are not data analyst trainee. I said, no, you need to create a sense of alliance. Let it flow.
Yeah.
You can make it start from, look for the closest. If you're applying for a data analyst job, Maybe back in maybe your last two experience, you've worked as in information analyst, insight analyst. Insight analyst is also data analyst. They are synonymous. The variation between them are insignificant. So you can say you are a data analyst as well. You can say you are an insight analyst, because in insight analysis you draw out is just a portion inside data analyst. So you, the compound name is still a data analyst. You're still a data analyst. Somebody that's a
Okay.
data science, and within data science, in the last position, he works as a machine learning engineer or machine learning analyst. You are still within the confinement of data science. You can still claim that domain. So putting it on your resume that you are data science to align with the data science job, as you did not lie, you are still within that compound. So
Mm.
don't, because I work as a machine learning engineer previously,
Mm.
and this is a job role talking about data scientists. I will now put machine learning engineer. That looks synonymous. But if I were you, if the job you are looking for you to have been machine learning engineer for like 2 or 3 years, you can actually apply for a lead data science or a senior data science. So data scientist. Now, if you're a machine learning engineer, you put machine learning engineer in the air and you apply for a senior data scientist, you have already shot yourself in the leg, because they'll feel like you don't have a compound knowledge. And that compound knowledge is just because you are not predisposed to it. Most of the things you are doing is also more like the compound knowledge, because you build model, you develop pipelines, and you develop flows. So rather than putting machine learning engineer, put data scientist. Tailor it. The first one you
Mm.
can put junior data scientist. Let it be progressive, because you are promoting in your they like concentration on one domain. And so if you are applying for data analyst, don't mix job qualification experience. No, don't mix it up. Be consistent. Another thing, monitor the gaps.
Mm.
I don't like talking much on my gap. I'll cut it off. Any year that is not relevant to it, be very specific. Bring in the year that all your experience covered for that job. Bring it up. Leave the rest behind. Don't allow gap within experience. You can leave gap behind. What I'm trying to say is that maybe you start your career life 2010,
Mm.
and before that 2010, you are on and off in
Mm.
one field or the other.
Yeah.
The part that looks significance
Mm.
to your job history. If you start your career 2010 and the parts that look significant to that job field started from 2017, cover it there. 2017, 2024, cover it there. Leave that one behind. Don't put it in there to create a gap. Look for the years that are consistent over time.
Mm.
So that structure will help you. And then in the content, I've talked about two things now. Consistency in terms of job roles.
Mm.
I mean, don't put gap within the job work experience. Then thirdly, your content in each of those work experience. Let it be action word. I was developing, no, action. What you'd be verbal action word.
Mm.
Developed a dashboard
I
that
developed
generates.
instead of I was developing.
Yes.
I did. I that.
So don't act like they are you are being instructed to do all things.
Mm.
Act like you take decision, you led the
Yeah.
role,
You came up with
and
the
don't cover all your this thing with technical this thing. Include stakeholder meetings. That
yeah.
shows that you don't just go ahead, because there is no way you'll be in the industry and tell me you have a work experience. Don't just go to training and come back and put develop dashboard. There is no part that is non-technical.
Mm.
Does that mean that all through your staying there, there was no any stakeholder meeting, there was no any meetings that involved,
Mm.
deliberation or
Mm.
business finance meeting and things like no, 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 no.
Yeah.
There are, and
Mm.
be actionable in terms of results.
Yeah.
Let's your this thing contain results. So that's just what
So
I'll say. Let's get your results.
this point you've given now is for people that have gotten experience, they have worked into. So for those that have not gotten experience in the area and they are trying to enter it, how would they now tailor their
Now,
CV?
if you have not gotten experience,
Yeah.
let's assume you just move into data analysis, and
Mm,
just like we usually do, maybe you get an experience as a trainee. Like this person I was talking about, he got experience as a data trainee. So you now put data trainee analyst. So the first thing I told him remove, he said he has some experience back in Nigeria.
yeah,
So this is what you now do if you don't have, maybe you move into the UK and you have
yeah.
experience back in Nigeria. So you pick your relevant experience in Nigeria.
Mm,
Relevant experience in Nigeria. You look for a way to align the name. Maybe when I was in Nigeria, I worked with AP. I was not actually a database administrator. I was an information analytics administrator. But what I do was to manage the script for SQL, updating of the database. I actually work now. If I want to use that experience, I can use it in three manners. I can use it
mm,
for data analyst because I do the job of a data analyst there. I can use that same experience if I want to use it for database administrator. I can use it very perfect, and I can use it in data engineer because I do pipelines. I I perform ETL processing. You see, when you don't know the depth of this thing, you'll be scared to put some kind of experience of what you've done. You have actually done those things before.
yeah.
It's just that it's not captured
Mm,
in a compound now for you to know that this is what you've done. You don't actually know where it's fitting, but you've actually done that.
yeah.
So for me, look for your relevant experience, pick it up. Then when you get to this UK, I think you have done some training.
Mm,
Even if your work experience is two, it doesn't matter.
mm,
What matters is one, have a UK experience.
yeah.
When you have a UK experience as an intake, don't apply for two IR roles. Go for junior data analyst
That's it.
or data analyst one.
Mm-hmm.
So apply for things like that
Yeah.
and make sure that your 2 years, 2 experience, the content of what you do is attractable.
Yeah.
So what I do is I put the job role, the things I perform in the role,
Mm,
actionable, practical, develop dashboard that solves social problem and reduce the business income by 10%.
mm,
Develop a pipeline that
mm,
processes results to lead generation that reduce their redundancies by 10%. I make it actionable. Set
mm,
up a weekly meeting to lead a team of 5 data analysts to, actionable things
yeah.
within those, even if it's that's 2 years, that's two work experience you have. Put it there.
Mm.
And like I said, be bold.
Be bold, not arrogant. Be
Be
bold.
bold, not arrogant. No, be
Thank you
bold.
so much. Thank you so much. We'll be going for a break. We'll be back for more in-depth into your experience.
No
So,
problem. Okay.
yeah, good to have you back, Shittu Ahmed. Welcome back. Thank you for that insight that you've given us so far about preparing for interview and how to overcome the anxiety and be bold. Don't be arrogant. That's my take home. People can what's the difference? What's the thing like? What's the line? What's the line between being bolder? Because a lot of time people
Mm.
misdo that. When some people can be so arrogant and they tell you that I'm just being bold. So at what
No,
point do you think
when you are bold, you
Mhm.
are polite. Boldness comes with politeness.
Okay,
Any boldness that is void of polite is
lightness.
rude. And there are sometimes that people will want to just play your emotions, and then you are rude. You are rude, but you are being polite, but they just want to play your emotions. Because some people know that if you know that you have a sense of should I call it godliness, or maybe you are someone that have a sense of belief. So in order for them to play on your emotion, they will say you are rude. But otherwise, you are being bold. But your boldness.
Okay, so
So
yeah,
being bold is accompanied with politeness.
yeah,
But any boldness that is void of polite
yeah.
is rude.
It's
So there's
rude.
a thin line between them. You're
There is
just rude.
definitely a thin line. Okay, so moving forward, yeah, we want to know are there particular resources where you found helpful for your job research apart from the LinkedIn, because you were really emphasizing on LinkedIn. Like, apart from LinkedIn, are there other resources that you can uh, search for jobs and materials on how you can uh, get your interview right, answer your interview
I
correct?
think when it comes to websites for job application,
Hmm.
civil service jobs, people don't really know much about it. It's a
That's
very, very good platform of
hmm.
job application. And as a matter of fact, if you don't want your application to be marked down by AI, because most of the big companies use ATS to just filter off, to set a certain threshold of percentage to filter off your CV. So sometimes your CV is not even getting to any HR.
Hmm.
So once your CV does not match up with the threshold, and how did they do it? There's a machine learning natural language processing thing
Hmm.
that's search for the pattern in the job description and find the top prominent word. So it will run a test on your CV. I'll actually share a particular Google Chrome extension you can use with your CV to see if
Hmm.
you actually match up. So,
Hmm.
so it will use that ATS and it will check. And if it finds out that maybe the company set a threshold of any CV that is below 50%, as above that is below 80%, nullify. So your CV, you will not even get to anybody. So as you're applying, the CV is dropped. So you just notice that you just get automatical message,
Hmm.
unfortunately. Now, unfortunately, sometimes it's AI.
Yeah.
So because you don't match up the threshold. So I advise people apply from civil service job. Civil service job, you're not going to necessarily upload your CV. You're going to type your CV in and your cover letter and everything in total inside the box by box. So with this mechanism, because a civil service job, there are a lot of people to do so many things. So even people that read message, they can have someone for it. In all of this job that has to
Hmm.
do with civil service. So civil service job, go online, civil service job, yeah, Ministry of Justice. I get most of my interview from a job application in civil service job. When you use civil service job, you get application because people will read. It is now human being that will go, okay, read the background, read your personal statement,
Hmm.
read your what is it called? Um, your CV, read it out.
Hmm.
Then create portal for NHS.
Hmm.
NHS is not only just one. NHS has different fractions. We have NHS Blood, we have NHS Profession, we have NHS Bank, we have NHS Trust Fund, a lot of them. So most of them as their portals. And don't only look at the scope of your jurisdiction alone. You extend your tentacle. We have four continents we have four countries within the space of United Kingdom. We have Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland. So England alone is not only the place. So don't be enshrouded to just only England. Expand your tentacles in terms of NHS, create portal for NHS Scotland, NHS Blood Transfusion Scotland, NHS Blood Trustee Scotland, NHS. So NHS has different portals. Set up a portal with them. They send you notification for jobs when they have jobs. And notify any prominent banking, any bank. I'm talking of Tech now
Hmm.
specifically.
Hmm.
Create a portal with them. They email you with updated space for job every time. Up to today, I still receive from NatWest. I still receive from EDF
Hmm.
job vacancy. I still receive from British. Is it the Heathrow Airways, Heathrow Airports, and all of those things. So I still receive from them. So create a portal and then go to their website pattern. Like me, I actually like to work with oil company. So I
Hmm.
bamboozle all my LinkedIn around oil company people. So any notification is rush to the rush to the place and check if there's a job space. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
So these are the things I do. These are the resources I use. Civil service jobs,
Hmm.
LinkedIn, personal websites of the company portals,
Hmm.
NHS, different fractions of NHS. They have more than about
Hmm.
4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because a lot of us are only aware of the track.
No,
Just
we have NHS blood transfusion. Like one of my friend, Michael.
Mm,
Michael, at a point in time, he said he doesn't want to send me that job because as I have a job. But there was
mm,
a point in time because he was working with NHS blood transfusion, and that's different from ordinary NHS.
mm,
So they
mm,
needed the efficacy of data governance. Whatsoever. There was a time I
mm,
was having an interview with NHS professionals, the principal data analyst. So
mm,
they have their own separate business. So they have a lot of fractions. A
mm.
lot of fractions.
Wow.
A lot of fractions.
Wow. So, the next question I wanted to ask you, you've already spoken on it about handling your nerves and anxiety during the interview session, which you said being bold and speak to yourself. Yeah. Okay. So, what can you say? Was there any role that networking had to do in job search? Networking. Do you reach out
Networking
to?
has networking has twofold.
Okay.
Your immediate environment and the extended world as a whole. What I mean, immediate environment, the people you rapport with,
Mm,
your friends, your closest pals. Yes, you know, when we speak, sometimes we speak from the resources of what we've been through. Maybe because I lack a little bit of social communication, I don't really see the efficiency of networking when it comes to my own job search. But personally, networking goes a long way. I'm telling you.
especially in this UK, does it really?
This UK, it is. If you find yourself, that's why I say it's in twofold. The
Mm,
fourth fold is if you are lucky, you're fortunate enough to intentionally put yourself within some flux of the same feather like you. What I
mm,
mean is flux
yeah,
in your career. So you
yeah,
must be intentional to surround yourself with people of like-minded, of the
mm,
same career path, of the same
yeah,
career focus. So when there is any opening in their company, they can tell you, they can refer you. The reason why I don't necessarily put too much stain on what is it called on
referral.
um, on networking is because in this UK, even if you go to the office, is someone they say go and apply online most of the
Yeah,
time. And
yeah,
there's
yeah.
so, but there was a time that somebody that I met when we were in care home,
Mm,
and we're actually discussing is so when we talk, you can know if this person knows what he's doing or what he's not doing. So he actually observed. So when somebody now met him that they are looking for data analysts, he was looking for my number up and down. For months, he looked for my number, I couldn't get it. So later enough on me say they were looking for a role. He now called the guy. That's networking because
yeah,
you're able to it goes a
I
long
guess
way
yeah.
in the sense that which it goes a long way that it helps you to know what to do and what not to do, but it doesn't really get you the job.
Mm,
So if you're able to maximize the information you get from the flow surrounding you in
yeah,
terms of the immediate environment you have, in terms of your friends, your colleague, your church member, create a community. I've always said
yeah,
this. Create a community. If you want to survive in this UK, create a community that can influence your philosophy, influence your career, influence your life and every part. So within a community, set up a flow, be within the flows of people. It's the same like-mindedness so they can actually succor you in terms of help.
mm,
Maybe you need career advice. Okay, what do I do? You've done interview before, so how does it go? So just add the information you can get. They wouldn't necessarily get you the job or tell you if some people were even scared. I have an experience in back when I graduated from school. Some of my friends they don't want to tell me if there's an opening in their working place. Or some people are scared. Inferiority complex. They said if you come to that working place, maybe they understand your capacity. You may
yeah,
actually they should. But like I said, I've had connection. I've had networking twice. There's one of my friend I was working with Sweden of Bureau. When there is an opening in their place, he's more like my junior, and he knows we've worked together for long. He
mm,
referred me even to his boss. Even when they don't want to pick me, he confused them to pick me. So they selected me for interview. I turned it down because the salary is low. So, so I actually said them no. But
mm,
it works actually.
yeah,
And when the higher role came out, he still referenced me. But
Mm.
actually, I've been with my company, so I can't actually move. So it
Yeah.
works. That's a place of work. So surround yourself in terms of information, in terms of what to do, because all the information I used then was what I was disposing to the guy.
Mm.
So surround yourself. Now
Yeah.
that is your immediate. Now in the extended world,
Mm.
LinkedIn as an environment. Don't go to Facebook and watch some. Join yourself with. Yeah, the place of networking. It works because it
Yeah.
helps you get information.
Mm.
So your ability to maximize the information makes you profit in it. You can profit from networking and you may actually get bad thing from networking because you may end up getting garbage. People discouraging you on a lot of things and tell you how difficult things is. Some people know how to paint things in a black way. That they
Mm.
will tell, it's extremely difficult. You can't. No, no, no.
Yeah.
So, but when you have some information online, maximize it. So join Facebook group that has to do with your career, data science, Twitter
Mm.
that has to do with your career,
Yeah.
LinkedIn, people that are of like-minded. So you can easily reach out to them. Even if you don't reach out to them, scrolling through their posts, they will talk about there are so many interviews I have on SQL that I get some of the insights from LinkedIn. So when you
Mm.
scroll through rather than going through Facebook, that you scroll through pictures of somebody shaking bomb or turning head left and right. Go through LinkedIn where you see career paths and
Yeah.
things, tips. Some people post tips, some people post and SQL tips, interview questions. So all of those things. So
Yeah.
that is how networking, because you put yourself in the social media to just network yourself. So
Yeah.
networking, as I explained, is twofold: your immediate environment and the world at large. So the world at large is how you get to social media. So
Wow.
maximize it from them is profitable.
That's a good one. Thank you. So, can you share a question you were asked during an interview that surprised you that you were not expecting? I know, of course, there are a lot of questions that you won't be expecting, but what was that particular question that you were asked that you weren't expecting? Maybe it's not even connected to the job.
Actually, my greatest shock was when I was actually having, because more like a shock, because a
Mm.
question you're not expecting is a shock,
Yeah.
and any interview event that you're not expecting is a shock. So the guy asked me about power, talk about yourself, Power BI thing. So like I said, my forwardness gave me a backlash that particular days. I was forward to say anything I know, talk about what the research I did. So the guy now said, okay, you said you've done Power BI dashboard. Okay, show me one. I never expected that. That was why I said, don't talk.
Too much.
Some of us that we've saw, because most of the thing I used to say those days, it may be that somebody come and say, "Oh, assist me in this project." When I look at the situation of the problem, I can even if I don't put anything, I can just sit down and then frame the person's work down in my head and
Mm.
present it as a task.
Mm.
So because I participate in the task with the person, so I can design it on my own and put it up.
Mm.
So this was one of the test question that was given to me in one of my job interviews. So I designed all of those things. So I never knew that even the design I did has a lot of flaws. So the guy said, "Show me one." I was
Mm.
so shocked. I never believed he could ask me that. Since
Mm.
you are talking about, I remember the company, Park Destiny Resort. Park Destiny Resort. The guy, that was what inspired me to go and be checking people's profile. The
Yeah.
guy has bulk of experience, and so
Mm.
he caught me at the slightest point. So he told me, show me the proof. So when I bring the dashboard out, he showed me 1001 faults in the dashboard. So there is no way I know I'm not going to pass the interview.
Ah, I'm sure you are talking so much with so much confidence. Like, what?
And I
Let
was
me
talking
even
so
see
much.
what this guy knows. Let me see.
So my morale was down. I lose confidence in myself.
I
So
know.
that's the number one question or things I know throw me off balance. So
Yeah,
my advice to Via is that talk within the confine of what you are.
exactly. Don't
Don't
just.
be asked. And that's being said,
Yeah.
I can't really pinpoint in my head a lot of questions, but what can lead to you being asked an irrelevant question is when you talk beyond the scope. They ask you,
Mm.
how, when do you use Power BI? I use it for so this and so this. But you say, yes, I use Power BI as much as possible. Self, I can even use Tableau. I use Tableau in this. Okay, the
Mm.
person now, okay, you use Tableau here. How does Tableau work in this area? And
Uh-huh.
you just heard about Tableau. It's not as if you've used it.
This,
You may not have even used it before. So you just for you to create an impression. So don't bother
yeah.
create an impression. That's
Mm-mm.
creating an impression gives birth to irrelevant questions
Question.
that is not even within the confinement of the job description.
Yeah.
Just because the person wants to satisfy his ego, the
Yeah.
interviewer want to
Yeah.
satisfy the ego that you don't beat me.
Yeah.
You understand? So he
Yeah.
will want to throw you a question that will throw you off balance. So don't
Mm.
put him in that position.
Yeah.
But just be precise within the confine. Some people are even jealous of the fact that you talk
With
everything.
so much
You know,
confidence with that it's
I'm
as
so
if
much
you don't
confident.
do much.
Yes.
They'll be like, this one want to come and take my job. Or what's this? What's this one?
So you already put yourself in that position. So don't put
Yeah.
yourself in that position. Make sure you talk within the confinement of what it has. Be bold
Yeah.
and explain. So I may not actually have what's a lot of questions. That's the difference. But what give back to is don't try to create impression. Be
Yeah.
sincere, be precise, be explicit, and be detailed enough during the confinement of the work you're asking. So that's
Mm.
that's that is it. Don't create
Mm.
impression.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
land you land you where it land me. So
Oh, great. That's awesome. So, going further, what did you do? How did you follow up rather? How did you follow up after the interview? And how has that follow up impacted your success story to getting the job or not getting the job? Yeah.
actually I didn't really have any follow-up story in terms of following up interviews. If I notice that the interview exceed 1 week, the response is only 1 week,
Mm,
I'll follow you up with one message. And if you don't come back to me, I don't chase you again.
mm, mm.
I don't chase you again. I'll look for another job. Sorry, that sounds rude. But
Yeah,
I will chase
but
again.
that's
But
it.
but the thing, don't follow up is a very good thing. Follow up has two advantages.
Mm,
One, to let them know you are serious.
yeah,
And that can actually in some sense shows a sense of desperation, a
yeah.
sense that you are absolutely in need. So give them a timeline. That is why towards the end of your interview, ask them question. When will I get a feedback back?
Mm,
Be bold enough to ask them, when
back.
will I get a feedback?
Mm,
So when you are given a precise date,
mm,
then if it exceeds a particular day, you can follow up. And the follow up on the follow up is of two types. Follow up after interview in terms of acknowledging them. Thank you for to the interview. Where I don't really do that
mm,
because two things where maybe the way I reason are actually different. To me, I will tell you that makes me look desperate because
yeah,
you are not coming to do me a favor. It's a win-win game. It's a
yep,
50-50. So
exactly.
I'm coming, you are not employing me to pay me for free. I'm not being rude. I
Mm-mm,
just like to appreciate myself so that I won't have a sense of inferiority. So that helps me a lot when you're talking to me or when I have an interview in terms
mm,
of job, so
mm,
that I won't have a sense of it. You are not calling me to do me a favor.
mm,
You understand? It's a win-win game.
yeah,
I used to say that if you watch British people interview,
mm,
the way they speak with all audacity, the term, the audacity at which they question you, you know that they know they are, you know, you're not coming to do them a favor. That being
mm,
said, I'm not saying follow up is not bad, is a bad idea. If you are confused, that's
mm,
it's what works for you. For me, necessarily, I don't see it as works. That is the follow up in terms of saying thank you for interviewing me. It's just
mm,
a cultural thing. In terms
mm,
of saying thank you for interviewing me, and I hope to hear from you. So yeah, it's a normal semantic cliche. To
mm.
me, I don't really see significance in terms of if they don't want to give, if you perform poor, even if you follow up, they won't give you
They
the
won't
role.
give you the job. Yeah.
So it's better you save yourself of this shame
Mm.
So they may come back with you out of sympathy. I don't give me job out of pity, out of sympathy.
Mm-mm.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm so yeah, I'm so,
but
so don't give me job out
that's
of
the reality.
sympathy.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not what you be able to say, okay, you can train me. So let's
Mm-hmm.
see. But at all costs, I will trust you to demonstrate all manner of competency and things I know I can do.
Yeah.
And what I can do, I'm open to learn more and more. So
Mm-hmm.
on that note, you can follow up if you are confused, but
Mm.
it's not significant over the years of my experience and over I've actually talked to people. It's not really a significant ways. Nonetheless, it can work for you.
Mm.
And on the other hand, following up, the one that can count as significant is following up when you don't see the response. That shows that you really mean the job.
Mm.
Yes,
That
you really
shows
have passion for
desperation.
the job. Yes,
Okay.
so that's your passion for the job.
Mm-hmm.
In some sense, if they gave you 1 week, because we are desperate. If they
Mm.
say 1 week, some people may not listen in that interview when they are saying, we will come back after 1 week. It's not even up to 1 week, they will begin to bombard the people with message. No, that shows some sort of desperation.
Desperation.
That is
Mm.
why I ask them, what time am
Yeah.
I expecting? They say 1 week time. So wait 1 week time. If you don't hear anything for them, don't wait again.
Mm.
Now, if you now wait, that shows a lackadaisical attitude.
Mm.
So after that 1 week, give them like Monday, then Tuesday, pop them a message.
Mm.
Remind them there may be a lot of work schedule and a lot of workflow,
Yeah.
or maybe computer errors that sent out message and they actually reach you. So when you
Yeah.
set them a reminder, they will now say, oh, we are sorry. This. And there's a way you structure the write-up
Mm.
that you won't sound beggarly. At all costs, don't sound inferior, not like you are rude.
Mm-mm.
Sound like that is how I'm saying this to people that are just applying in the works, they're just coming into the tech space. That is what is expected of you in the position you are putting yourself as a data analyst. You are
Mm.
telling yourself because you may have gone through the experience and do some training and some place that may not have given you a solid industrial training, industrial this thing. So you need to put yourself mentally in
Mm.
that form so
Yeah.
that anything you do will reflect because these people are not only the skills, they want to see your charisma, everything you
Mm-hmm.
do. How does it put you that you have actually worked within the space? Because
Mm.
if you told me you have worked in the industry, you will know how the industry settings is.
Yeah.
So everything you do will reflect it. So that is the twofold on follow up. But the
Follow up.
first part, I don't really see significance, but if you are confused, you can go
Mm.
on. But the second part is significant. You can follow up your interviews, messages, and ask for feedback.
Nice. Thank you. So, what advice will you give to someone preparing for their first interview?
I'll say don't expect too much.
Mm. Yeah.
Don't expect too much. Don't be fair.
It's not a
Don't
do
be
or die something. Is either a yes
no,
or
it's
a
not
no.
no. So
But
don't
put in
be
your best to
afraid.
prepare for it.
Yes, definitely. Like I
Mm.
said earlier, hard work.
Yeah.
Be ready to burn the candle, the business
Mm.
candle, and to give in your best.
Mm.
But have is important. Have a sense of realization. Have a
Mm.
sense of even if it works, if I have a sense of if I perish, I perish. So when you
Mhm.
have that kind of sense, already one of my friends used to say something. He said, if there's any problem, he said, Vams, what is the worst case scenario?
Mm.
Okay, the worst case scenario is that we don't get this. So once he knows the worst case scenario, he's prepared. So
Yeah.
me, I ask myself, what is the worst? The worst case scenario is that, unfortunately.
Mm.
So I relax. So when you've already, I'm not saying anticipate failure, but at
Mm.
least know what's the worst that can happen. The worst that
Yeah.
can happen is this. So don't anticipate failure, nonetheless.
Mm.
Anticipate, be positive minded and be
Yeah.
positive. But don't put yourself under pressure. Don't be
Mm.
duress. Your first interview you can eat it and you may not eat it. So but
Mm.
be positive as much as you can. But on
Mm.
the other side, know that things happens. It may not even be the right job for you. It may be the job for you, it may be people. So just relax your mind, prepare, put in your hard work, go
Mm.
there. Don't put yourself under pressure. Not putting yourself under pressure will make you be able to answer the question that you have studied. If
Mm.
not, you will study very well and you'll be
And
thrown off balance with one questions.
yeah.
So the emotional stability is people
Very
don't pay
important.
attention to it, most especially
Mm.
we black. We don't pay attention to emotional stability. And that is what has created much deficiency in our job search or our job interview. If your emotion is not properly stable, you're not stable, and you're not, I'm speaking from a very courageous point of view. It's gonna tell on you, and you start it, but and that that you have put, it's not because you don't know it. You understand? It's not because you are not competent. It's
No.
the dread, the fear, the anxiety,
Yeah.
and a lot of anxious anxiety. So that's just my
Yeah.
advice. It's not a do or die. Yes, be fearless.
Yeah. What's the worst case scenario? That's
What's
it.
the worst case scenario?
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, now you've secured the job. What were some of your first steps in acclimating to the new job role? What
Hmm.
did you do best?
If you are in a job for the first 2 months, you've not have the job, I must tell you. Your manager
Mm.
is still checking on you.
Mm.
He's still inspecting every move you take. They want to see how you want to solve problem, how you talk in the meeting, your contribution. So if you buy your way in there by you can off the job in next 3 months or 2 months.
Mm.
So the fact that you secure that job does not mean you have the job. So because of
Mm.
first 2 months, and I'm
Mm.
saying this, the first 2 months, they will test if you can do Teams meeting. Some little things that you don't know. Like I must say this. Like we used to say, I have had experience. Yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe you may not have had that re-experience. Maybe because you had a training.
Mm.
So they are seeing some things that they expect you. So maybe like you're in the office and you're asking the person, how will I set up this Teams meeting?
Ah.
You're asking. So you immediately ask, because I'm speaking from experience. I had
Yeah.
some couple when I was working as one advance. I was
Mm.
asking a colleague because I see there's a difference between your technical skill and administrative skills.
Yes.
Administrative in terms of some ethics, that to approach file,
Mm.
all of those administrative skills that you have passed through. If
Mm.
truly you walk through that experience you claim.
Mm.
So that administrative skills must showcase in you. So in a moment where you begin to ask questions on administrative skills, that means your experience is questioned. It's
Yeah.
questionable. So
Yeah.
I was asking an administrative, how will I pipe this thing? So, but my technical skills was sharp,
Yeah.
but the administrative skills was not as sharp as it is. So, and I know how that's bringing a lot of backlash for me in
Yeah.
terms of that first role. And so your first 2 3 months, as a matter of
Mm.
fact,
Mm.
your first 6 months, you are still trying to convince them that you are not a peer.
Mm.
Peer means we employ you thinking you are professional and
Mm.
finding out that you're not professional. We have to train you to meet up the standard. That's what the company will not want to do.
Mm.
The company wants to be in pure, whereby we employ you to do a work of a data analyst,
Mm.
not knowing that you have an experience of a junior data analyst. So we now have to train you again to
Mm.
match up with that. So that's what the company wants. So they want to know if actually you match up with it. So the first
Mm.
2 3 months, my brother, my and we in Nigeria that we have a sense of theoretical knowledge. No, that is
Mm.
why please don't put what you don't do too much on your CV.
Mm.
No, to be very sincere, don't put. I'm speaking from experience. Don't put it. Just
Mm.
put what you know. That's okay. I know my capacity. That if I want to do research, I can stand myself. Because for the first 3 months of my job role, I was still doing sleepless night. I was not having rest.
Mm.
You're able to get a job and rest and follow up when you have
Yeah.
stated what you can do. And the
Yeah.
company, because these people, we don't take things like the way they take it. If they
Mm.
say anything on your CV, they believe that is what you do.
Yeah.
So they have weighed you on that scale.
Mm.
So you must mash up that scale. The problem that they will bring to you will be exactly size of the scale at which
Mm.
your CV weigh you to be.
Mm.
So if you weigh yourself higher in your CV, when they
Mm.
bring the suit for you to wear, it will be oversized. And that's where the first problem will come. So I have to go through series of sleepless nights, come back from work tired, start studying all night. Your capacity may not be able to do that. And I have to go the following morning. So your
Mm.
first 6 months is
Mm.
struggle. So these people are not bringing data that they copy from Kaga from you. No,
Mm.
They are not bringing data that they copy from Z that they say perform dashboard. No, you are
Mm.
going to meet real life
Real life.
problem
Yeah.
that if you made a mistake can cost the company millions of nairas,
Yeah.
millions of pounds. So
Mm.
you need to know what you put on your CV. Don't exaggerate too much. If you
Mm.
know that, if you know that you are not, some of us we know ourselves that I know that it's not like of a pride. If I'm starting with a responsibility, I can stretch myself 3 days non sleep and get
Mm.
something to solve. But if
Mm.
you know yourself, that doesn't mean that I'm more brighter than you. But if you know that you yourself, you can't really stretch. You are a part-time person that can solve a problem at time, take a rest, solve a
Mm.
problem at time. If you bottleneck yourself, you're going to crash
Mm.
because that particular time you have already set a standard that you cannot match up for yourself.
Yes.
So it's very, 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 very important to be transparent in your CV. If they
Mm.
want to give you the job, they'll give you the job. So don't set yourself for yourself. My boss asked me the third day that after the 1 week training, he said, we have this problem. What can you do to solve it? It is not Drew data. No,
Mm.
the data is in a mixed up.
Yeah.
He called me to meet him one-on-one. What are the necessary for the prescription you can
Yeah.
do to solve this problem? And don't think you will go and Google it and tell him. Those
Mm.
steps you count out will be documented as a process for you to follow points 1 and 2. So anything you are saying must be what is achievable,
Mm.
not just what Google pop for you because you've Googled out the question of what can easily be asked, and then maybe you have interview and they said how the data be managed. I'll take the data through. I'll try to solve the problem of inconsistency in data using into the median process. Don't
Mm.
just come and say it. You must know that that thing you say,
Mm.
you will document it and you will achieve it and you bring the result out. So anything you are going to be saying, you need to be very, very careful about it. So that is it. I've had a lot of people that lost job after 2, 3 months, most especially
Yeah.
in the tech space. Yes, after
Mm.
2, 3 months. Why? These are some of the reasons. One of the reasons is that what they weigh in their CV,
Mm.
they could not
It's,
match up with it.
yeah. Yeah.
So if you said to yourself that this is what I've done and done, I'm a junior data and
Mm.
I'm a trainee and junior data analyst. They give you junior
Mm.
data analyst roles. They will appoint someone to supervise you. As at that time, you won't need to put yourself on necessary duress.
Yeah.
Your mind will be calm, you will follow the work, and you will progress without stress.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that place you still get there and no beyond that thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you know it in layers and in layers and in
Yeah.
layers. You won't bottleneck yourself.
Not
So it's a
understood.
very, very so
Mm.
it's very, very thing to
Yeah.
know.
Wow.
But if you
Okay.
know you can withstand prayer, you can
Mm.
withstand prayer. Yeah,
Mm.
you're the man. You're good for it.
Yeah.
You can withstand prayer.
Okay. So just before I let you go, we've really taken a lot of your time.
Yeah.
Looking back, is there anything you would have done differently in your job search and interview preparation? Was there anything you would have done differently that you want to
Well,
advise people that they should rather focus this aspect than?
all I would have done different is I won't waste so much money on gathering some certification or doing some road by side training. I
Really?
just try to get experience.
Mm,
You know, I say when people train you,
mm,
they learn more than you.
yes.
Now,
Mm,
you will be at the losing end if you were trained on a topic because nobody is going to give you full details. If you want to learn Power BI, for instance, no organization within the fears of this UK will ever teach you what you need in the industry. No, they will teach you fundamental. And by teaching you, they know more. Now, if you want to, if you will be at the losing end, if after all they teach you is all what you know, you have lost already. You have lost the money and you've lost the knowledge. It will not be profitable for you. I'm not joking. The only way to be profitable for you is that take that thing they teach you back to your own indoor. Use that as a fundamental basis knowledge. And that is why in those days, some of our colleagues don't know mathematics. If you remember mathematics teacher in school, they will give you simple example. But when I want to give you exercise, you will not see the same exercise
It
as
will
the
be
example they give.
it will be 1 + 1 is
No,
2 again. It will be 1² plus.
no. Now, what makes the difference is that when they teach you, they only give you templates. They only build you a foundation. They
Mm,
expect you to go back home, begin to build on those foundation as a building block. So
yeah.
in those days when we are in school, when the mathematics teacher give us an example, we go back to the general mathematics question. We solve all the exercise.
Mm,
So by solving all the exercise within the place, you have known, you have built on that foundation using the same template. So when you are taught Power BI, you are taught Introduction to Dashboard 101, and they tell you this flag here, touch here, touch here, touch here, do this. Go back home, watch more videos or read more textbooks on that topic. Dig deeper beyond what you were taught. So if you feel like because you do one training online or one this online, you will get the job, you will not get to. I'm not joking. Unless you do extra work. And if you
mm,
get the job, you can lose it because what you were taught is not what can give you. No one has the time
mm,
to teach you everything you need into the industry. No one has the time apart from yourself. That being said, it's good to go for all this learning to give you a brush up, a
mhm,
fundamental, but make it profitable for yourself by going back into your corridor yourself.
mm, mm,
Now develop on those foundations they have laid for you. That
mm,
is how you profit. If not, you are not profiting. One, you are enriching the person monetarily, you are
mm,
enriching the person intellectually,
mm,
because the person we now know more, because at the process of teaching you, you will gain more knowledge. Know if you want to know anything,
mm.
teach it the more. So you learn the more like that. So
Thank you so
that's
much. Thank you
that's
so
the point.
much. Thank you so much. This is really an eye-opening for everyone out there preparing for their interview, searching for job. Thank you for allowing us to get this experience from this information from you. We look forward to meeting with you once again on a different aspect of your experience. Thank you for
Thank you
gracing
very much.
our our screen with your with your presence. Have a
And
nice
more
night.
importantly,
Yeah.
yes, more importantly, seek God for mercy. Mercy
Yes.
covers everything the more. And
Yes.
so
Yes. Yes.
that's
Yes.
that's that's the last part. So that's all. Thank you very much, ma. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you
Thanks
so
for being the
much. I
privilege.
appreciate.